Hello, welcome to Safra's Pop Culture World. My name is Safra, and today we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiance again. And this time we're going to talk about one episode before the 90 days, season 3, episode 8. Okay, we got that. This aired last night, Sunday night. Today is Monday, so tonight there'll be another episode of The Other Way. So this time I'll stay on track with just one episode, season 3, episode 8 that aired last night. Okay, here we go. This is recaps and opinions, and as always, feel free to get your own opinions down below. I'm in all these Facebook groups where people talk up a storm, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so I guess the first people we'll tackle is Akini and what's his face, Barry or the Benji or I don't even know. That couple just gets on my nerves. I can't even remember their names. Um, so with them, I don't even know if I've talked about them before. The whole thing is just so ridiculous. It's not ridiculous, it's painful to watch because this is a guy who had a whole, he's very religious, he seems kind of shy, he seems like a really nice guy. And it's funny, there are several really nice guys on both the shows this year. And he seems like just a really nice guy who found a beautiful girl. I believe they're Africa, is it? And so he went there to meet her for the first time. And so instead of being able to stay at his bed and breakfast that he had ordered, he's forced to stay with Akini's brother, who's kind of a surly, not nice guy. And so right away, dude lost a lot of money on that deal, I'm sure, because he paid for that Airbnb and now doesn't get to use it. Then there's all these weird rituals that no one told him about. And I don't think it's fair that she didn't tell him about all the hoops he's going to have to jump through to get just so he can date this woman. They're meeting for the first time, yet suddenly it's like, and I know it's all about getting married and all that, but, you know, the, they showed how he had gone over for dinner last week, had gone over for dinner, and he's supposed to meet the father, and the father never showed up. So then the brother gave Akini hell, saying, you embarrassed the family because dad didn't show up. Like, what the heck is that all about? Just abusing women for no reason. It's not her fault her dad blew them off. Like, I don't even know. That just made me angry. So last night we get to go and see dad in action at the church. He's the pastor, just like, oh God, what's his name? Benji, or I can't even remember his name. Um, so then there's a whole bunch of more stuff where not only do the parents have to give their blessing, but then all these people that are part of the religious group had to also give their blessings that these people can get married or date or hang out and all that. So they gave their blessing. So we'll see what happens next. He's also supposed to pay for her, and he's not sure how much he's going to have to pay, and he doesn't have a lot of money. He's just a working guy with a kid. He's just a nice guy with a probably just a plain old job, and probably saved up for ever just to try and go on this trip. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. I don't really care. Caesar and Maria, I don't care. I didn't even watch. I'm not even sure what happened last night. I was looking at Facebook or something when they came on. I just can't deal with that storyline. Feels really fake to me, and I don't believe it's true. And maybe it was true and they're just reenacting it, but it's just stupid and dumb. And they should have just ended it where she broke up with him, but now apparently they're dragging this thing on where it's gonna go on and I don't care. Who should we tackle next? Tim and Jennifer. Okay, I liked Jennifer a lot more last night than I have in the past, so I'm sorry I was harsh on her in my last video. But like I said before, Tim and Jennifer, Tim's getting friend zoned fast. He doesn't have the passion, he doesn't have that, like a lot of women like that dangerous guy, that the guy who will be forceful and, like has their way with them and, will go and cut the balls off a bull and all that stuff. She picked the wrong guy. You know, they both have been hurt, which is why this little dance is happening, because neither one wants to be hurt again. And so I think that's why she went for a nice guy. But she did say herself last night in the video that the Tim that's there in person is very different than the man she met online. So probably online he was more forceful and aggressive. And even when we saw in the videos when they first introduced this couple back in the first episode or so, he did seem more arrogant, more sure of himself, more like he was a take charge kind of guy. And now he's just like nervous and shy and doesn't want to screw things up, so he's being too nervous and shy, and it's making her question. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe she'll grow to like a guy who treats her well. Um, and maybe they'll find a nice dynamic where they can both loosen up and not be so nervous, because she said herself that they both came from pasts where they're second guessing each other now, and that's part of what the problem is at this point. So hopefully they can work through this and maybe get on some even footing and have a nice relationship. Though I'm not positive this one would last unless she's really in it for the green card. Then yeah, they'll get married and she'll come over. That's my thoughts today on those ones. Who else do we have? Who do we have? Who should I tackle next? Oh, we're getting into the big ones now. Okay, let's do Avery and Omar. So Avery got married. Oh, yes, she did. Yes, she did. She got married, and it was the weirdest, most awkward situation I've ever seen. Um, Avery's 19, Omar is like 24, so they don't have a clue what they're doing with their lives on a good day, like they're very young people. And Avery's mom is there to try and help and facilitate and just see what's happening. And Avery's mom is doing everything a mom of a daughter like that should be doing. I think she's done everything properly. And yeah, I would be shooting my mouth off too at the ritual, because no one explained it. No one seemed to know what was going on. Like the people getting married, Avery and Omar, they had no idea what was happening either. Like even Omar didn't seem to know how these customs worked. And so, um, yeah, it was all very awkward and strange. So yeah, I have a big mouth like Avery's mom, and I would say the same. Like I feel like I just sold you, or and the thing with the mother couldn't be a witness because for the mother to be a witness, there has to be two women for every man because women have no rights. And so it'll be interesting to see how this story progresses with Avery, who's a bit of a spitfire but chose to become Muslim because I think she thought it would calm her down. So yeah, now she's going to be totally under submission to Omar, who also seems kind of clueless about everything. So I don't know what's going to happen. But now they're married. They are married, and then they told mom that that Avery's going to move to Syria while they wait for the visa instead of coming back to the States. So that's a big mess. Mom's very devastated, and we'll see what happens next. Uh, yeah, I don't know why Omar let Avery buy that beautiful, expensive wedding dress if he knew they were just going to cover her up with a burlap sack. Try and say that at first thing in the morning. Also, I don't want to speak poorly of other people's customs, but as like I'm in Canada, so to watch a ritual where, you see a man and a woman becoming married, becoming a couple, becoming a family, yet women have no rights. So it was like Omar and the priest guy held hands and said the vows to each other and so on. So it was all very, it set the tone right away that Avery is not a person, that women's rights aren't respected in this type of culture. And so that'll be interesting to see what happens next. Oh boy. Angela and Michael, I guess we'll do next. Now, I actually kind of liked Angela this time, and it's happened to me before with her last year. There were moments where she shows great vulnerability, and you kind of like her. You kind of understand why she's so loud and pushy and controlling and demanding, because then you see the side of her where she has been badly hurt and mistreated in her life, so she has put up this insane wall of control. where she's trying to control things so they don't go bad on her again. But as we all know, if you try and squeeze a balloon with water in it, it all goes somewhere, right? So we'll see what happens with them. So they went and saw Michael's mom last night, and we're talking about having babies. So Angela, they showed a clip from before where Angela's trying to talk her own daughter into carrying a baby for her and Michael, should they get that far in their relationship. And yeah, that's all awkward and cringy to see. And then Michael's mom saying, well, if Angela and her daughter can't give a child to Michael, then Michael has full reign to just go out and impregnate someone else so he can have children to carry his name. So there you go with that. So of course that makes Angela's head spin. She just finally got over her anger at something else, and now she's probably going to get all angry again. So, oh boy, oh boy. Then we have Rebecca and Zayed. And, they're a really nice looking couple. I actually really like how they look together. But yeah, as we start to peel back these layers of lies and crap that they do to each other, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. Rebecca already catfished Zayed with how she looked and using all those filters and stuff, even though I think she's a beautiful woman just as she is. She doesn't need all those filters. I think she's a very attractive woman. And, lying about not being fully divorced, all these things, and I'm sure there's other stuff. And then now she's finding out more about her honey, who's like 26 or whatever. And Zayed had, according to a background check that her boss at, because Rebecca's apparently a private investigator, yet she's fallen for the biggest catfish in the world. We can all see a mile away. Um, so her boss said, it doesn't look like Zayed's ever had a real job. There's nothing recorded that he has a job, that he's worked, that anything's happening. And so she's trying to ask him, like, so you said you worked in a movie theater or whatever the hell he said he did, and oh yeah, I get paid cash. But he didn't even say it like that. He said it was such an obvious lie that it's like, come on, all you had to say was I get paid cash, I have no records. But no, he's not that quick on his feet to lie like that. So it came out really obviously lies. So he probably just coasts. He lives with his parents, so he probably just coasts along doing odd jobs. He said he does odd jobs in restaurants and cafes. He probably does. Probably deals a few drugs or whatever else might be happening in that country. Um, 'Cause lots of young men that age, get into dealing drugs. It's quick, easy money, and you just do what you do. And who knows? Who knows what he does? I'm not saying he's a drug dealer, I guess, because that's not nice, and I don't know. But something's up. And yeah, Rebecca, just run away. He has no job. He's going to be living off you, and you trying to make him say, and this is it. And and this is why it's good to watch these shows, because you can really see like relationship advice, right? Me, I'm not very good at relationships, which is why I'm single. So when I'm watching this, it's good for me to study these dynamics. So in this particular instance, you have Rebecca over the course of the last few weeks saying things like, promise to love me before I tell you this thing. So that's not cool. That's not good to do in a relationship. And so I'm learning that lesson myself, just watching this. And then, so she tells him, oh, she had a lesbian experience or whatever, and he's supposed to still love her because he said he would, and when she goes to tell him that her divorce isn't final yet, except she's making it sound worse than it is. All you have to say is the divorce isn't final yet, we're still waiting for the papers. Now, of course, we don't know all the details of Rebecca's past, and she did marry another man from Tunisia, and she brought him over, and we don't know if he's actually still in the States and if she actually has to be paying for him for the next 10 years, as sometimes happens with these visas and stuff, right? So, so there may be more to the getting a divorce thing than we know so far. And then, with Rebecca, instead of trying to, again, I'm trying to do some learning lessons. So she's saying to him, okay, when you come to the States, you have to work. And she's making him promise that he will. But yet, it's all false. Like, he may have every intention of working. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying in courses of relationships, for him her to say, promise you're going to work, you got to promise so that I can apply for the visa. Well, of course he's going to tell her what she wants to hear, whether it's true or not. So these types of little, I don't really want to call them red flags, but just interactions in a relationship. You can see when you're watching other people do it that it's not good. It's not real. It's blackmail or whatever, forcing people to do things that they may or may not do. And then later on, there will be trouble down the road because one person was coerced by the other or had lied. And then the true colors come out and so on, right? So I find it interesting to watch from that perspective. And God knows what's going to happen next with those people. Okay, and the big finale, Tom and Darcy. Oh my God, Darcy. Oh, Darcy, Darcy, Darcy. Ah, now with Darcy and Stacy, I do feel like a lot of it is staged. I can't believe these women are really that annoying and screwed up in real life. I can't. They must be acting, and the producers probably say egg each other on. Um, and so on. But some of the things are so ridiculous and childish. It feels like they're teenagers instead of like 50-year-old women or however old they're supposed to be. And the competition, taking her shoes out of the suitcase on the side of the street so she'll be taller than her sister, which was last week, not last night. So now here we go. They're going somewhere. I don't even know where they went. They all crammed into some little camper bus thing. And Tom's already resentful of this whole shenanigans because he's probably lost thousands of dollars canceling the romantic trip he had planned. He had pulled a lot of strings. It probably cost thousands. I mean, you figure a bottle of champagne's probably $1,000 what he's up to, right? So he's already resentful and angry, and he's already, you know, last week when he met Stacy there and Flavian or whatever his Florian, Flavor Flav, he was like they were like a couple hours late getting to the restaurant, so that pissed Tom off already because he's a very punctual type of guy, and we saw this earlier in other episodes too when Darcy was so late meeting him and he was having a stroke. It's she's really rude. She made him pay $500 for a cab so she could get dressed in an airport bathroom, and oh, it's so gross. Anyways, so last night, he's not well. He's got a huge headache from these women bickering and bitching at each other. Constant. It's constant chitter chatter. It's worse than being trapped in a bird cage. And they're outdoing each other. They're bitching. They're crying. They snipe, 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 snipe. And so then they're in this little bus, and Tom got car sick because they're on these rocky roads. They're trapped in there for an hour. He's listening to the bitch, and yeah, I totally see how he went and threw up. And but then they don't even Darcy isn't even really, she's like tries to crawl on him, but be an adult, like give him some water, like maybe go home. I don't know. But yeah, it was bad. And then so I guess he got his dig in at her. I thought it was the best part. I know people are screaming all over the place. Some people think like me where we just laugh so hard. Other people thought he was terrible. But at some point last night, Tom did say to Darcy, well, if we had gone on this romantic cruise that I had prepared for us, we would have seen the place where my parents got engaged, and if the moment had felt right, I probably would have proposed to you. so, so Darcy's head exploded. Oh my God, it was so funny. And it was really mean. Like in real life, that's really mean. Tom's being mean, but Darcy was so mean to Tom all along. So good for you, Tom. Um, any other couple, if they'd done that, I would have been Tom, you're a jerk. But with all he's had to deal with these women and their bullshit, yeah, good for you, Tom. Just stick a little dagger in. We know this relationship isn't working anyways. And but one thing that was good, and one thing I like about Tom is that he seems to be quite honest. Or even if it's not honest, he's very blunt. He's like Simon Cowell or Gordon Ramsay or whatever. He's blunt, and he pretty much says what he thinks at ultimately, and that's what I like about him. You always know where you stand with Tom, pretty much. So he did say that. In a way, I'm glad we didn't go on the romantic cruise and I didn't propose to you because I'm seeing a side of you with your sister that I just cannot deal with, and I don't like this at all. And he didn't say it like that, but you can see like the crazy Darcy he's seeing. He's like, I don't want to play that. I'm not part of that party, but he should have known that from when he saw Darcy with Jesse. But he probably thought Jesse was the one provoking her in the previous season, but now he sees no, Darcy's just nuts. And this is what I thought too, just to segue a bit, because I never had this channel back before all the other seasons. So when Darcy was with Jesse, yes, they were a beautiful looking couple, but Darcy very insecure, and I suspect she does have issues with alcohol, and she's probably on some pills and stuff. So her emotions get. She's a very emotional woman, anyways. She is a drama queen, and then I think when she starts drinking, then it just gets bigger. I know I can be a mess when I'm drinking too. Anyone who knows me knows I can be a puddle on the floor. I think most of us can. Alcohol is pretty evil. So during the times she was with Jesse, there were times where I thought she had pushed Jesse too far because Jesse was only like 24. He's very, very young and came across as much older because he was mature for his age. He had goals and dreams in his life. He's personal trainer. He likes his sports. He's a jock. He's a model. He probably wanted an acting career. He probably was with Darcy because she was doing TV, and he probably envisioned a really nice jet setting life together. And they probably could have pulled off a really good jet setting life together because they're both beautiful people who could probably get a lot of endorsements and stuff if they could only have gotten along. But Jesse did have a bit of the control thing, but I think Jesse's controlling wouldn't have been as bad if Darcy hadn't have been so Darcy. You know what I mean? So now that I see Darcy with Tom, who's also a lot like Jesse, where he likes things in order, he likes things organized, he likes a schedule, he likes to be punctual, which were all things Jesse had too. And now Tom, he's only a couple years younger than Darcy. I think he's what, 40 or something, whereas Jesse was 24 and Darcy's I think 45, or I can't remember their ages. But so Tom's closer in age to Darcy, very much so, but he does have a lot of the qualities Jesse had, which are admirable qualities. Like I said, they have goals and hopes and dreams and visions. They have money. They like to make money. They're hard workers. They take care of themselves. They appreciate punctuality. They're organized. They want to know what's happening from A to B to C. And I'm a lot like that too, most of the time. Whereas I too, would trip out if someone was 2 hours late. I wouldn't even stay there. There's no way. I wouldn't put up with any of that nonsense that Jesse and Tom and Florian put up with. There's no way. So kudos to these men for even staying half a minute. So yeah, so Darcy's realizing how she screwed up the thing, and that's what I ranted about last in the last video, is how selfish she was to make him cancel this trip that he had planned and spent a lot of money on. So now she has to pay the piper for her own selfish actions and look at herself in the mirror at what she's done. She's made a nightmare. All she's done is fight with her sister. Um, there's been no romance, and then she's bitching about, then she's trying to say, oh, it was a romantic place, and Tom's like, no, it wasn't, and that's what I liked about him. He didn't sugarcoat it. He's like, no, you're bitching with your sister the whole time. It was hell. It was hell. We could have been on a cruise. You could have been drinking champagne at the sunset and staring at islands, but whatever. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next with them. I think I covered everyone. Okay, so it's time for me to get to work, and for you to leave some comments, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know, what do you think like I do with some of these observations? Do you think I'm totally off base and I have it all wrong with some of these people? Let me know. Let me know. And why do you watch 90 Day Fiancé and all its spin-offs? Well, what do what do you get from it? Did you watch it for therapy like I do? Do you watch it for relationship advice? Are you trying to date someone over in another country and you're getting tips? Tips and pointers of how to look for those red flags and the green card people. All right. Anyways, I'll probably do a video tomorrow after tonight's episode of 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Bye.